name is Tracey Cook and welcome to the podcast series Victim to Victory. This series gives a voice to those that have overcome obstacles in all forms, that dare greatly to share their real stories. Amazing humans, just like my friend here in a moment, that have seen hope and risen above those adversities to become victorious, that now support and inspire others to do the same. And this afternoon, we are giving a voice to Tui Katene. How are you?
I'm good, Trace. Thank you.
Now, Tui and I are friends, but she is remarkable. And no doubt I'm going to be hearing some of her story today as well. And I just want to share a little bit about Tui because I'm going to totally toot her horn for her. She is amazing. And she is a world leader, an inspirer, and she's changing and motivating a lot of people in the mindset and coaching space. So in short, okay, Tui grew up in a small town in New Zealand, Kia ora. There we go. I'm speaking New Zealand now.
Yeah.
And, they didn't have much as big dreams of being a superstar athlete, and it wasn't something that was spoken about. Her father was a very hard man. Whether we want to touch on that in this interview, we can do there. And no matter how many times Tui was knocked down, she got up, and she got up because she wanted to get out. Okay, get out of the house, get out of that town. And she spent hours practicing her skills, running the gravel roads. And, she is a superstar. She's an athlete. She is an athlete. Now, I want to just, before we get into this interview, I want to share some of her highlights. She has done way more in the athletic space than any person that I personally know. She's still winning, okay? She's teaching others to win every single day. And why does she do that? She does that because she must do that. And that will make sense when you hear her story. Now, she is a 4 times, listen to this, guys, because I'm going to toot her horn till the cows come home. She is a 4 times international athlete and world champion. She is highly regarded international motivational speaker, performance coach, and trainer. Tui has a background in psychology, hypnotherapy, professional coaching, and personal training. You need to go check out some of her weightlifting videos. Truly awesome. She is a wealth of fitness, sport, personal development, and professional experience. Tui has worked with clients including Hollywood celebrities, CEOs, elite athletes, and everyday people for over 25 years to maximize their potential with forward-thinking coaching, whether it be physical or mental. And Tui speaks on a range of topics, including resilience, determination, courage, fearlessness, and be prepared. Be prepared to be motivated. You will be inspired and motivated today by our Tui to laugh and cry as she shares her inspiring journey. Tui is a champion, an absolute champion, who believes we either win or we learn, and that if you cannot find a way, we make one. And I've worked with Tui, so I know this to be true. She is full of integrity. And Tui's knowledge and experience make her a highly sought-after speaker, coach, and trainer. We have 86,400 seconds in a day. We get to decide what we do with them and how they matter. That just epitomizes Tui Katene. Welcome to Victim to Victory. And where does your story start?
Thank you. It's I'm happy to be here. I feel very privileged to be here, actually. Where does my story start? Yeah, like you said, I grew up in small town, rural New Zealand, and we didn't have a lot for a long time. So it was a challenging time, and and you touched on it. Like my dad was quite a a hard man. He's not here with us anymore, and he's a great loss. But growing up, in many ways, he was my nemesis. I just always wanted to be the best. I always wanted to be the best. I wanted to be the best because I didn't necessarily have the best home life. There was some violence in our family, like many families where I kind of grew up. So it wasn't like just a thing with us. It was a thing with small town New Zealand, and it was just the way it was. But yeah, my thing was sport, and it became my thing at a very young age, because I realized that if I was playing sport, I would not have to be home. I could be at practice, or I could be away on sports trips. So I decided very, very young that I was going to be very good at sport. So I spent the rest of the time as a teenager, pounding the roads, the gravel roads, the back streets, running up hills, doing whatever it took to get me to the next level of sport. I'll give you an example. The first kind of provincial team I ever made was for a touch rugby team, and in order to go to the nationals, you needed to have shoes. I didn't have shoes. I just played with bare feet, like a lot of the people that I played with did. But you had to have shoes, or you couldn't go. It was a rule. So I made the provincial team, which was awesome, because it meant I got to go away, but I didn't have any shoes. So what I did was I went to we had a shoe shop in town. It wasn't a very big town. There were 10 shops. One of the shops was a shoe shop, and the cheapest pair of sports shoes that would fit what I was doing cost $100. Now, I knew as a 15-year-old, if I went to 10 shops and asked them each for $10, I'd be able to have my $100 and buy my cheap pair of shoes so I could get on the bus, just so I could get on the bus. So I went to every shop after school and said, look, I'll do whatever it takes. If you want me to sweep the floor, if you want me to put things away, whatever it takes. So most of the shopkeepers were pretty keen on it. Some just gave me the money, but a lot of them, they got me to do the work to see how committed I was to what I wanted to do, because I went in there, hey, I'm Tui and I'm going to be in the New Zealand team and all I need is $10. So that's kind of how I started. I walked the street. I come to the final shop was the shop that sold the shoes. So it was right at the very, very end. So I kind of had $90 by the time I got to the end. So I went into the shoe shop and there were these shoes. They were the ugliest, and I'm talking ugliest, white cricket shoes, and I wasn't even playing cricket, that you ever did see. There were like heaps of them because they were probably so ugly. I don't know. Anyway, I had $90. I sat down. I tried the shoes on. The shopkeeper, he came out and he said, yeah, but they're $100. I said, oh, yes, but I'll do anything. I'll put the shoes away. I'll do whatever it takes. He said, no, look, I won't give you $10. You can just give me the 90 and I want you to go and be the best that you can be. So pretty much the whole town, all the shops in the town helped me get on this bus to go to nationals. That nationals, not only did I make the New Zealand team, I also was named player of the tournament, so the number one player in the country. I came back home on a bus, stopped outside the bus stop at about 9:00 at night time, got off the bus, and every single one of those shopkeepers was standing outside congratulating me. So it was humbling and just amazing experience. And from that point on, I knew that if I cannot find a way, I will make a way. And it worked then and it still works now. So that's kind of what kind of triggered that part of me. Like, even if I didn't have anything, I could find a way to make a way. And that, that's a true story. That's something that was, yeah, I share it with lots of people now, but and some of those shopkeepers are still following me on Instagram and on Facebook now. So it was a very, life-changing experience as a 15-year-old.
That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Now, that was for the New Zealand women's rugby, was it?
New Zealand touch team. Yeah, New Zealand women's touch team. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I stayed with New Zealand Touch for like 15 years after that. Captain of the New Zealand team, was the captain of the inaugural Touch Black team, became an international touch coach in 3 different countries. So, yeah, touch was the very first sport that I really excelled in as an elite athlete. Yeah.
Now, with the mindset of I'm going to make a way, so where I know it's built from hardship of growing up, having to find a way. Sport was your outlet. You're getting out of the house. This is in your zone. This is where you're laser focused, and all of the town is celebrating you. And you were 15 years there. When you got off that bus and you felt so humbled, what triggered in you next? Like, what were you thinking after that? Were you thinking, that was great, I've done that, what else can I do? Where was your mind going after that?
I think for me, and it still happens now, it was more, how could I have been better? How could I have been better? What now does it take for me to be better at what I do? That's kind of where my mindset thinking, and probably around, and the most important part of it is my why. Why do I want to do this? Why do I want to be the best touch player in New Zealand or the best powerlifter in the world? Why? So once I've discovered what my why is, and once I dig deep enough to discover and truly find that why, then I'm able to move forward with the next step. And you know what? It doesn't happen overnight. I didn't become a world champion overnight. It took me 30 years to become a world champion. Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't happen overnight. You don't automatically become a world champion because you just have it. It takes hours and hours and hours of practice, but it takes hours and hours and hours of mindset practice. Believing you can is the most important part of it all.
And what do you think are the most practical things that you could use around mindset to keep wanting to keep going, keep wanting to be that best version of yourself? What do you say to yourself? What do you practice? What do you tell yourself to keep going?
I personally, what I do is I go, I choose, I think, and I feel. Yep. So I feel, I want to feel strong. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I want to choose to be resilient. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I want to think that I can do it. So, yeah, think, feel, choose in every aspect, whether it's a sporting aspect or whether it's a life aspect or whether it's something around something that challenges you. If you find something that challenges you, how do you think about it? How do you feel about it? And what are you choosing to do about it? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because a lot of the time what we do is we go, this is a challenge, and I know it's a challenge, and that's it. And it just stays there. Oh, no, it's too challenging. Mm-hmm. Nah, it's only challenging because we're choosing it to be challenging. What can I do to overcome that? And it might be 5, 6, 7 different steps before you get to it. It might not be a straight away, I choose this, then automatically it will go away. It doesn't work like that in real life. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely. Yeah. And do you think a lot of our mindset has got to do with our environment and our relationships and who we're actually hanging around, that they're telling us who we are? They're telling us what we can and can't do, and where we know it's not true, but we still keep listening to it. Do you think that's a really big problem in our society and communities now?
Oh, absolutely. And just even like social media, who we choose to follow. on Facebook and what we choose to watch on Instagram and whatever else we're choosing to follow. That makes a huge difference. If you're following people who, if you want to go somewhere and you want to be someone and you've kind of got this idea, then wouldn't it be a smart thing to kind of surround yourself with people, like-minded people that are thinking the same thing? That's the smart thing to do. So what we can do is, rather than take away all the negative, what we can do to start off with is just start adding those other people to our playlist or to our follow list. And sooner or later, you'll get more of that positive energy and you're less likely to want to watch or want to follow that other stuff. I don't think it's always about taking away. It's like weight loss. Yeah. We think if we just don't have the butter, we'll be fine. Yeah. And if we just take it away, we just take away the butter. It doesn't work like that, because you and me know that you take away the butter, all you want is butter, right? So what about if we took a little bit of butter away at that meal, but kept it for the others? And then the next meal, because we're ready now to take it away. Yeah. And that's okay. Same thing. If it's not about just taking everything away straight away. If you can, fantastic. But you don't want to get that craving thing going on. I really miss that negative stuff that I like to watch, or all that whatever stuff that I like to watch. But do you like to watch it? Or what is it about it that you like to watch? So you need to be asking yourself those kind of questions, because if you want to be here, but you're continuing to stay here, then you're choosing that. Yeah?
Things don't change unless things change, do they?
Yeah, that's right.
You can't keep doing 100%. The same stuff expecting different results.
Absolutely.
Something's got to change.
It doesn't work. You just stay stuck. And people say it all the time. As a life coach, people come to me all the time. First thing they say is, I'm stuck. Yeah, I'm stuck. So what are you doing? Oh, I'm doing this, 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 and this. So what do you want to change? Oh, I want to change this, 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 and this. So what are you doing about it? Oh, nothing. I'm just doing the same thing. So how do you expect it to change? Oh, I didn't think about that. Or maybe that's a bit too hard. So then break it down. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Completely. Now, I just want to take it back a bit to your athletic mindset as well, because mindset is key in athletic. Mindset's key in everything we do, but especially in like an athletic. You're an elite athlete.
Yeah.
What were some of your mindset struggles, perhaps? I don't like using that word very often, struggles or overwhelm or anything like that, but when was your mindset really tested in those kind of situations?
Do you know the most challenging time for an elite athlete is when the competition finishes? So you can win at a world championships and you're on top of the world, and then you go home and then it just all goes. Do you know what I mean? It just like pauses. So the most challenging time for me growing up, even as an athlete, I started really young. I was 15 and I was, playing at a very, very elite level with adults. And that was the hardest time for me, because I was good when I was in competition. But when I wasn't in competition, I really struggled mentally around who I was. Because when I was competing, I was an athlete, but I wasn't competing anymore. So who am I? And what does that make me? And at that age, I had no idea. I didn't understand any of that. But from that, I struggled quite deeply with depression, because I was depressed, and it always happened when I'd finished, like a national competition or something really big, and then big crash. Back up again when I started training, and then big crash again. So I had struggled with depression as a young person, and because I wasn't hanging out with any of my friends, I was playing with adults. I didn't really have any friends. My life was sport. Everything I did was sport. I didn't get to go to the ball or do any of that crazy stuff that everyone else does. But at the same time, I chose not to, because my choice was, I want to be the best player in the country. And then I want to be the best player in the world. And in order for me to do that and get out of here, This is what I need to do. So it was like the sacrifices that you made created a lot of the struggles that I had as a teenager. And the flow-on effect of that was, having carried a lot of mental illness through my career, and having to deal with that as a backpack on my back when I rocked up to any competition. Like I think, Trace, like when you welcomed me to the show today, I said to you, I'm really nervous about this. And you're like, that's okay, we're just having a chat. But you know what? Being nervous is a good thing because it means you care. And I was always good at being nervous and then performing. I wasn't so good at not performing and how to be after that. So I struggled quite a lot with that. And then as I got older, my mental health got a lot more intense. And, I struggled quite heavily with mental illness in between international competitions, in between a Commonwealth competition and a world championship. So, and a lot of that too was, I guess, trauma brought on from my childhood. So I had all that together, and at the same time, I'm trying to compete to be a world champion. It was, it's been really challenging, but that's what's created my character. And that's something that I feel, like I know now. It's like a life coach. You want to be kind of old enough to understand life before you go out and share it with everyone else, right? It's not like I can be a teenager and be a life coach.
That's it.
It's kind of the same thing with mindset. I've experienced the very, very, very highs of elite sport. I'm a world champion. I got a Commonwealth gold medal. And I've also experienced the extreme lows and, losing a world championship and not placing and not even making a team sometimes, But I never believed I wasn't going to be good enough for the next time.
Did you always feel good enough for you, Tui? Did you always feel good enough for you to be your own authentic self, if you don't mind me asking?
No, not at all. If I'm being an athlete, I'm good at that. I'm really good at that. I'm good at that. I believe it. I embrace it. But as separate and just me, no, not at all. It hasn't been until the last kind of couple of years that I've realised that what I deserve, not what the athlete deserves, but what I deserve. Because, there comes a time in every athlete's life, Trace, that, that you kind of got to put that aside now and kind of got to get on with life in a different way.
Yeah.
But getting to that point and looking after me and what I deserve and my authentic self has only kind of come about in the last kind of couple of years. And, I've been following some really motivational people, Mel Robbins, Les Brown, yourself. And I'm just embrace that now and use what I've learned and through my struggles to be who I am and hopefully inspire someone else,
I don't think hopefully, I think you are already.
Yeah. Well, I know I am, but I'm, humble enough to say that, it's bigger than me. And if I can inspire someone else to inspire someone else, then I'm winning. That's I think that's the key. I
know how big your heart is, and I know how much you like to serve. And I know how much that, and it's very obvious, even from the first couple of times a few years ago when we first met, person to person, I thought, this woman, she knows her stuff. You've got quite a presence and a posture in a room. You hold people's attention and you genuinely care about people. You genuinely put people above yourself. Do you link that back to childhood trauma and wanting to be the best version as well? And that's not a bad thing. Thing. Would you say that that's linked back to that as well?
I think so. In many ways. I mean, my dad used to say to me, he used to be quite hard, and he used to say things like, when I was young, if I came home and we had lost, you kind of didn't come home. You're not training hard enough, you're not running fast enough, you're not practicing long enough. And that was it. There was no other conversation around it. It was just that. He never actually came to many of my games or anything like that. It was just, if you told him you lost, he always had an answer for why you lost. And so I think he used to say a part of my successes, because over the years I obviously collected trophies and medals and from all over the world. And you know what? The one person that collected all of those still was my dad, and he put them up in his garage and would talk to his mates about them all the time. Not me, but his mates. And they're still in there. Actually, the white shoes are still in there as well.
No way. That is beautiful.
Yeah, no.
I hear a title. I hear a title of a book coming on, The White Shoes.
Yeah, the ugly white shoes. Yeah. So they're still in there. And he used to say, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be as good as you are. And for years, it just begrudged me. It made me feel like, you didn't make me who I am. And then I got older and I realized that, no, he didn't make me who I was. I'm the one that was out there for hours running the streets of Waitara. I'm the one that was throwing the ball to myself on the beach. I was the one that was trying to eat like Rocky from Rocky Balboa, and I did the whole egg and the bloody drink, and it wasn't very nice, but that's what I thought you did. Like, I was 15, so that's what you thought you did. But when I realized over the years that actually, it wasn't my dad that did it, but there was this little spark of motivation that he gave me to be that little bit better every single time. Because I knew if I went home and we didn't win, that was on me. Even though I was in a team, that was on me. So I made sure we won. And you can talk to a lot of the players that I played with over the years, and they would say the same thing. Yeah, there was no way we were going to lose if we played for Tui. So we always wanted to play with Tui. So
love that. I love that.
Yeah. So it made a difference, and it didn't, because I did the work. I did the work. I'd had coaches that had coached me over the years that were amazing and inspiring, and taught me things I still teach today. And I've been really lucky to have that. And a lot of them aren't here anymore. So I feel really proud to be able to continue that way of coaching. And
to carry on the legacy.
I'm excited about that. That's a good thing.
Yeah. And I love how you said, Tui, like I loved how your eyes lit up when you said your dad had them displayed in his garage and he'd show his mates, this is what my daughter's done. And isn't that typical of a New Zealand dad too, though, right? It is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It is very typical.
To me, but it's tell everyone else. Yeah. And everyone else knew, where I was playing and what country I was playing. If I was going for a world championship, whereabouts that was going to be. And, I've been all over the world, lived all over the world, and have been really fortunate to have had sport as, as the thing that's helped me become who I am today.
And I think that's an important message that you shared, and it's quite a golden nugget as well, Tui, because you said that it was never about his approval, but it was about you doing your best. Now, that mindset could have gone the other way, that people pleasing and the approval and all of that, but you couldn't come home if you lost. But that was you. So that mindset, that could have gone the other way, couldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, and I know a lot of people who had similar upbringings to me, and it did go the opposite way. And I was one of the very few that got out of that, which was, thank God. But yeah, it's again, we have a choice. We can choose this way or we can choose that way. I chose to go to training. My friends chose to go drinking. Do you know what I mean? We have a choice, and I still bring it up now, and I still talk about it with my clients. We think, we feel, and we choose, and that's all us. We have we have that choice. We can own all that. We can stop other people from doing it to us.
Ah, yes. You just hit the nail on the head. We can, when people talk about boundaries so loosely, right? We get to choose. We have the power to choose who we want to step in the arena with.
That's right.
You know, if you're not getting your ass kicked and you're in the arena with me, your opinion just doesn't matter. And it's okay to say that, because always the people in the cheap seats that are going to criticise or put you down, or I liken it to crabs in a bucket. You know, you put all the crabs in a bucket and one tries to get out and the crabs pull it back down, right? And no, don't go out there. You don't know what's out there. It's unsafe out there. And that's their belief system, not yours, because that crab knows, well, I'm going to give it a go anyway. What have I got to lose? Be stuck here with you lot. You know what I mean?
That's right. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. We do. We deserve to feel, think, and choose. And what we need to do is take ownership of that. And it doesn't matter if you're an elite athlete or not an elite athlete. It doesn't matter where you're from or how you grew up. You still have the choice to choose the life that you're living, to think the way that you do about yourself, and to feel how you feel about yourself. Even with a mental illness, you still have all of those three things: choose, feel, and think. You still have that, even in the darkest moments when you don't want to get up, when you feel like, what is there to get up for? In those really still moments that it's just you and your mind, because it's saying a whole lot of other stuff to you, you actually have the choice, Trace. You have a choice to choose.
And you do. And it all starts with how you're showing up in the next room, who you're hanging around, what you're putting in your body. You know, you can't expect who said it to me? I can't remember who said it to me, but you can't do epic shit with basic people. It's great to have them in your life. They may be your family. But at the same time, we get to choose. And I'm so glad that you kept saying that so often during this interview, because we do have choices. We can set boundaries. And as long as we feel okay about that, and it's not, you know, totally hurting or impacting somebody else, we've got to change. We've got to step up. We've got a next level. Now, sometimes it might be from a prognosis or a diagnosis, and you go in and you go, you've got to be a warrior. You've got to fight this. Or you can turn around and say, hey, just go to the next step, and then go to the next step, and then go to the next step. And that's okay as well. You don't have to do all of it at once and come out punching on like Rocky Balboa, you know. You can just do it, you know, step by step as well, can't you?
Oh, absolutely. And that's what it's about. It's about the little steps every day, repeated every day, is success, you know, just small steps. That's all it takes. And when you're talking about how, you know, the one thing, Trace, is we put labels on ourselves. Sometimes it's not even about someone else putting that label on us. We go, I'm not good enough. Says who? Oh, nobody. I just don't feel good enough. So we're choosing to feel not good enough. We've got to change that up if we want to change. Do we really want to change? And most people go, oh, yeah, I want to change. But do you? Like, really? Do you? So, yeah, it's not even just about everyone else. It's about what label we're putting on ourselves. I am a strong woman. Yeah? I think I am a strong woman. Yep. I feel like I'm a strong woman, and I choose to be a strong woman. But everyone has that choice. And if we're not thinking, feeling, and choosing, why? Yeah.
Just giving up, giving in.
Yeah.
Crossing our fingers, buying that lotto ticket.
Yeah. Don't we all do that? Yeah.
I think you've given so many powerful insights, and thank you very much for sharing about mental health and depression and, you know, being the elite of the elite and showing that strength through your vulnerability today as well, Tui. I know that was really hard for you to share, and you were quite nervous about that. So we really appreciate that. I know you're in the coaching space. We're going to connect you with people that need that motivation. What kind of message would you like to leave the audience on today?
I think for me, the most important thing is to just own it. We say it in the gym all the time. We walk into the gym and we own it. And I think you can do that in life. You can walk into the kitchen and own it. You can walk into the supermarket and own it. You can walk into your workplace and own it for yourself. That's not about anyone else and taking over anyone else. But I think once we choose to own it, that's it. Just own it. Think, feel, choose, own it. Yeah.
That's so powerful.
That's it.
It's powerful. It's not that's it. That is powerful. You have got the cookie, my friend.
Yeah.
You have got the cookie. You're changing lives. You're impacting lives. You're a thought leader. You're a world changer. And I love connecting with the world changers of the world, especially since 2020. The world needs leaders. We need to rise up. We need a bit more resilience. As hard as that is, we need to smash through those barriers and just the compound effect, just that little bit every day. Just be that little bit better than you were the day before. It's okay to have a crappy day, but just getting up, doing that little bit more every single day. And that's why I love people like you, Tui, because you're changing the world, literally changing the world, and especially with your mindset coaching. It is needed more than ever. And thank you very much for being brave to share your story. We'll be sharing where to connect with you as well. You are so appreciated, my friend. And you can find the Victim to Victory podcast series on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and our Facebook group. Please subscribe, share, and comment to help be the change that the world needs. And let me leave you with a message of step into your story, figure out who you are, and do it on purpose. Thanks, Tui.
Thanks, Trace.